What's up, guys? It's your boy Hayes, back with another video. And if you don't know, you won't know, but as a street artist in South Florida, Miami area, I always end up getting a number of questions that I don't really know how to answer right on the spot. So I decided I'd come up with a new segment here on this channel and share it with you guys today. So today we're going to do something new. I think we'll call it Ask an Artist. Alright, great. So, question number 1. I always wanted to be an artist, but I have no idea where to start. How do I get my first big commissioned mural project? Wow, we really are starting with the big guns, huh? Alright, well, it's pretty simple. Like everything, I'll start by saying, don't overcomplicate it. The answer is there's no real one perfect way to get started with this type of work. You can look for calls online. You can go out and do artwork legally or illegally. You can ask a friend if you can paint their walls. But what I did was I looked for a call to artists with the city that I lived in. And I found that that actually worked really great for me. Not only did I get the chance to do the work that I loved, but I actually got paid for it. And furthermore, I actually got people who were going to see it because it was sanctioned with the city. Now, the easiest way to do this is to go online and search artist calls or mural calls. And what you'll find probably are calls all over the nation. What I think might be absolutely best to do is really just go for something that doesn't have a huge budget, doesn't require a lot of insurance, but something that's going to get you the dreaded word exposure. No, exposure doesn't pay you, but it definitely gets your name out there. And if you want to get started early, you have to look at it like reverse marketing, so to speak. You are paying a fee in that you're not getting paid an exorbitant cost, and in return you're going to be receiving a number of eyeballs on your artwork. Now, these eyeballs are invaluable. You can't really put a number on it or anything like that, because what it does is, first, it gives you a chance to be seen. Second, it teaches you what you're going to need to go on the journey. And third, and probably most important, it makes you a real artist. Not that you weren't real to start with, but it actually accomplishes the goal. And as we all know, the goal is not to get rich off of your first painting or your first piece of artwork. The goal is just to get your feet wet and get started. So a simple recap: go online, Google, Ask Jeeves, whatever your favorite search engine is, and type in mural calls to artists. And what you will find are probably a number of different places to apply. Apply to as many as you can, preferably not one that has a very high budget, and get started. Another method, if you want to start your first mural, is to really just take the Nike approach. And that's to go out into the streets and paint till your heart is content. Now, this does come with a number of pros and cons. Pros, you can get as high as you want. You can paint whatever it is that you want. You don't have to wait for somebody to tell you that they like it. Cons, it's illegal. You could go to jail for it. And the likelihood is, if you do enough illegal work, you are going to go to jail for it. You'll have to pay fines and so on and so forth. Now, this method does definitely work if your city has a large art scene or something like that, like mine does here in Miami. But if you don't really have that, I encourage you to stick with the first method. Okay, now finally, how do I get my first mural? Third option. I find that there are a number of people who are looking for artwork. The best way to find them are on services like Thumbtack, Angie's List, Book an Artist. websites that are actually generating leads for you. Now, you will find that you have to pay either a fee for the lead and then build some sales and closing skills in order to encourage people to purchase your work. However, the best part is that they are actually looking for your work and they really need you. So if you haven't already, go online, download Thumbtack, and start a listing that says you're a muralist. I think you'll be shocked by how many people are actually looking for artwork, whether that be for their business, whether that be for their house, whatever it is, it'll get you your first mural, and that's the goal, right? Question number 2. Oh, this one's a good one. How do I transfer my drawing to a wall? Okay, great. So you have gotten your first mural. It is every bit of exciting as you were thinking about before. You've romanticized it. It's perfect. You've done the design. It's beautiful. You are ready to get this thing done. So how do you get it on the wall? Many people would say that they would use a traditional grid or just try to do it by their own eye perspective. Both of these methods I find can be a bit troublesome. And if you want to use the third method, which is a projector, that's also pretty troublesome because you have to find a way to control the light in the space. And if you live somewhere like I do in sunny Florida, it can be really hard to do that. So, what is the best solution to get your painting on a wall without messing up the dimensions? Drum roll. The doodle grid. Yes, the doodle grid. The doodle grid is a very simple method of accomplishing this. What do? We put a bunch of random doodles on a wall. Words, letters, stars, stripes, feelings, and then after we spray painted that up, we overlay just the lines, just the outlines over top of that doodle grid ourselves that's already on the wall. So what does this do? It gives us a lot of touch points for which to actually decide where to put each individual line. And it also doesn't take a lot of precision to make that happen. So if you haven't used the doodle grid yet, I encourage you strongly, use the doodle grid. You'll be glad you did. And more importantly, it really eliminates the need to be perfect because you improve your speed, you don't get stuck on each and every little detail, and you realize you can go back and fix it later on. All right, so you might say, Hayes, the doodle grid sounds great and all, but based on what you just said, I really don't know how to actually use it. That's fair. So how you want to use it is pretty simple. After you have made your doodles on the wall, you want to take your initial drawing in PNG format, which means it doesn't have a background, and you want to overlay that over the wall. How do you do this? You take a picture of your new doodle grid on the wall. Then you take the PNG file of your drawing, you place it over top of the doodle itself, the picture of the doodle, and finally you see where the new lines match up for your actual sketch, how they match up over the doodles. Pretty simple, not a whole lot of detail to it, but it really gets things perfect. Whew. Okay, these questions are hard. So let's try something a little bit easier this time, I guess. How do you stretch your creativity? Well, that's actually pretty simple. I think we're doing that all the time, every day, as we're trying to find solutions to each and everything that we do. But the easiest way for a creative is to simply play. What you've got to do is bring out that inner child in you, that kid that figures out how to do things that you otherwise had no idea how to get accomplished. And the best way to do that is to find a way to have a great time. Oh, yes. So for me, I like to do a lot of video games. First and foremost, the great part about video games is that they usually have really great artwork in them, and you get these expansive worlds that you can dive deep into. So you're always really doing research. That being said, if your mom or your wife or somebody tells you, hey, get off that game, then don't tell them that I told you that it helps you be a better artist. Last question. How do I know I'm finished with my work of art? Wow, that is a huge question. It's absolutely the perfect one to end on today. So let's get into it. The art of finishing. Finishing is an elusive mistress for every artist, and it's really because it's hard to decide if you have enough skill to completely recreate what is in your head and put that onto the canvas. A lot of the times we end up looking back at the canvas and deciding, oh, I can do so much more. I could really render this out and make it look perfect. And if you follow that plan, I promise it will never be enough. The way you know that you are actually finished with a painting is pretty simple. Painting, drawing, whatever it may be. You adopt the idea that if you were to add another 30 minutes of drawing time, an hour or 90 minutes, no more than that, could you improve the drawing so much that it would actually look like a different drawing? If the answer to that question is no, this is going to stay pretty much the same over the next hour and a half, then the answer is you're done. You can still add details and try and maybe create some Easter eggs, but if you cannot change the composition of the painting enough such that it will actually make a visual difference, then you're done. So don't be a perfectionist about it. All right, well, that's it. There you have it. If you liked this segment and wanted to hear more different tips or questions, then please feel free to add more comments and ask your questions down below. If not, well, keep that to yourself. No, really, I'll be doing more of these segments weekly just so that you can ask any question that you might need answered for your art business. I hope you'll take these tools and put them to good use. Anyway, it's time for me to sign off. So as usual, be creative, and as always, be you. See you on the next one.